We are live, I think. Are we? Are we live?
I
Can
don't,
you
I
see
don't
us?
know.
Can
Do
you
you see
see?
anybody joining the call or?
I think we should be able to. Yeah. So I think, yeah. So yes, a few seconds it says. Yes, we are live now, Doreen. Good
Perfect.
afternoon. Finally, we are live on LinkedIn. Yes, it is live. It's happening right now. Hello everyone. I think a few people will join in, and apologies uh, um, for a delay. All the technical hiccups, as you know, when you're joining in live through um, through Zoom, it actually is a little bit of a challenge, but we overcame that challenge in literally 4 minutes, which is a great news. So, Doreen,
Yes,
welcome to the inaugural session of our Socially Connected LinkedIn Live podcast.
yes. I'm so excited. First of all, I'm really glad that I am not in charge of the whole technical setup because,
Yeah,
we have if there's something that go wrong, it will. So, hello everyone, whoever's on here today. It's our absolute pleasure to be here with you this afternoon. This all came about just like that. Hamad and I met for coffee maybe 2 weeks ago.
yeah,
And we hadn't met each other in, I don't know, 10 months.
yeah.
We've been talking about it. And then suddenly went over coffee. We're like, you know what? Let's just do it. And there's just so much out there that we want to cover. There's so much we want to do. And here we are. We're starting. So I'm glad you guys are all here for the ride. We want to hear from you. So let's go, Hamad.
Yeah, so thank you everyone for joining in, and thanks for supporting. If you are joining in, you are actually supporting this podcast. And so Doreen and I, as you know, we our relationship goes at least 7 years. When I recently landed in Canada, Doreen and I met over LinkedIn, and that's how our friendship started. And we've done a lot of projects together. And we were missing this podcast. We had a very nice podcast that we did with other friends, 5 or 6 friends, for I think we did about 24 or 25 episodes of
Hmm.
that podcast, Career Connect, and it was amazing. Like it was a great experience, uh, bringing in people who were coming in from different parts of the world,
Hmm.
and we were kind of discussing what things are happening in this era. Like things are changing too rapidly or evolving, if you put it that way. So we were missing that part. Then, of course, for almost a year and a half, we didn't do anything. No podcast. Then I started another podcast with another amazing person, Sarah and Taimur Chuktai, uh, and that was in Urdu. So we did I think, about 7 or 8 episodes of that podcast. Sarah got very busy in her business. Taimur got busy in doing something else. He's a content creator as well. So I was kind of missing that thing, right? The the enjoyment or the fun of talking to people, going on podcasts, and actually sharing some knowledge with them.
Hmm.
Similarly, when we met over coffee, we said, okay, what are some of the things that we haven't done in the past uh, couple of years? And of course, podcast, this live podcast was one of the things. So we said, okay, let's start it. And then we started thinking about, okay, what should be the name of the podcast? There should be something. So we came up with Socially Connected. We actually discussed on various names, probably about 20 different names, and then Socially Connected because we are actually socially connected. We are living in a world which is socially connected, and that's how we learn from each other. That's how we help each other. So today is the first episode of Socially Connected. We started 4 minutes late because of some Zoom hiccups, but we are finally here. So if you are with us, watching us today in the podcast, please share what you need to discuss with us. Comment and repost this podcast so that it actually reaches to more and more people. We already have some comments coming, so thank you very much. We have Talib, one of my ex uh, mate from Saip is has joined in. Sumra joined in. Thank you very much for joining in. Shazad Gidwani joined in. Shazad, hi, how are you?
Hi,
Shabbir,
Shazad.
Shabbir Hassan also joined in. But please help us expand our voice or help us reach to more and more people just by reposting this podcast or commenting on the podcast. All right. So, of course, there has to be a topic, and the topic today is non-linear career growth. And a lot of us, we don't realize uh, how important it is to understand or map your career growth. But in most of the cases, at least in my case, and of course in Doreen's case, our career growth was not non-linear, as we put it this way. So we are going to talk about that non-linear career growth and what does it mean, how you should map it, and there's nothing wrong with it, by the way. What I see is that people, even in like very technical professions like engineers or doctors, lawyers, they think they have a linear growth. So an engineer becomes an engineer and retire as an engineer. But in between, there are spikes. There are things that they never wanted to do, and they are pushed to do it. For instance, some engineers go into management, some engineers go into supply chain and stuff like that. Within medical profession, also you end up doing like a lot of other things that you never aimed at when you started your career. So, non-linear growth is one of the basic topic that you want to cover in today's session. But clearly, as this is the first session, and we really wanted to discuss with you as to why we think these podcasts are important and why our podcast is different from a lot of other podcasts that are happening on LinkedIn. First of all, there are not many. Like if you look at the podcasts, there are not many. Uh, the podcasts that get most of traction are the podcasts that are being promoted by LinkedIn itself, so they can beat the algorithm by miles. So if you go on a LinkedIn podcast, they'll probably have about 2,000 people listening. LinkedIn does not push our podcast as much, so we have to work together. We have to work with you all who we are following and who are following us, and push this podcast to as many people as possible. Number one. Number two is, Doreen, as we discussed, we really want to help people who have hit the glass ceiling or who are struggling to think differently, to think from a very different perspective. These are
Mhm.
the two basic, concepts behind this weekly podcast that we are doing. Over to you, Doreen.
First of all, I wish I could see everybody on the call. I miss this. When we were doing the audio live, we could see who the participants were, and they could raise their hands, come up on stage, and talk to us. I miss that element here in the live, but maybe something will work out later. But when we picked on this topic of non-linear growth, this is exciting. It really is so exciting because I'm living it right now. Hamad is living it right now. And I think based on where we are today, 2026, and what's going on in the world, how many changes are happening, how fast technology is advancing, I don't think there is anything as linear anymore, and that's the excitement that comes from being nonlinear. I'm going to give a shameless plug here. I'm also the host of the Hustle and Hard podcast, and we have had some amazing guests on our podcast. So, hi, Jega, if you're watching this. Jega is our producer. We had 8 guests in our season 1, and every single one of those guests started at a certain spot at a certain time. And then they went through this twisty, turny thing in life, and where they are today is completely different to where they were when they first started. Somebody who inspired the topic of the podcast today is Brent Edwards. I said, "Hi, Brent. I'm giving you a shout out here." Brent has been through many channels. I'm not going to say he's old because we're all kind of in the same bucket. I will say experienced, very distinguished gentleman. And where he started after he graduated from his university program, he didn't know where he wanted to go. He was young, he was foolish. He was like, okay, what's my next move? But I think the trick is to just kind of be in control of yourself and have that open mind to say, you know what, I'm just going to try it. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep meeting people. I'm going to try new things. I'm going to learn new things and just have fun, people. Like whoever's out there listening, have fun. Our lives are stressed enough. We have bills to pay, families to worry about, our own health, what's going on in the world. So let's just put this having fun label on it instead of career advancement and just go with the flow and see where the tide takes us. What do you think, Ahmad?
Absolutely. See, whatever has to happen, it will happen. There are certain things that you can control, a lot of things that you can't control. For
Hmm.
instance, rising fuel prices, you can't really control it. You have to, particularly because we are living in North America and we have to drive because there are long distances. Um, if even if it becomes $2 a liter here in Canada, we will still have to fill our tanks, which means that we
Hmm.
have to pay at least 20-30% more than what we were paying before. Something that we can't control. What we can control probably is building that network, those relationships, and actually strengthening those relationships. I mean, you talked about Brent. Brent and I started our LinkedIn Live. I think about like 5-6 years ago, 6 years ago
Hmm.
maybe. Yeah, and we were talking about at that point in time, most of the topics were around immigrants and what their problems are in Canada. And I remember, I think Shahzad had recently landed from Kuwait, and we invited him to speak as well to share what are the problems he faced, and that podcast also was very well received. Although we didn't have the right equipment, the right environment, but we really wanted to do something.
Right.
And this is similar to you, what you're doing. And again, um, uh, things change, but often things don't change the way you want to change those things.
Hmm.
So your own adaptability factor really counts a lot,
Yes.
particularly from the immigrants' point of view. Doreen, you also work with immigrants and CC level executives. Immigrants, they come in, they have a very different perspective
Hmm.
of the Canadian society or the economy. But when you land here, it's not as easy as if someone would think. Some people prosper, like some people really prosper very, very quickly. A lot of my clients, they landed within 3-4 months, they got the job, they switched
Hmm.
those jobs, and they moved very, very quickly. Some could not. So that's a reality. Now, again, getting worried about it's not happening. Let's see what can be done in that
Hmm.
environment. Again, as I said, gas prices not in our control, but what can be done? Can we carpool? Can we use public transport more if it is cheaper?
Right.
We need to work it out, and exactly
Hmm.
what we are doing and what I mean. You have been in Canada since your childhood, right?
Hmm.
I think you were few years old when you moved here from Oman, and since then you are. I think Oman you said, right? Uh,
Bahrain.
Bahrain. All right.
Yeah.
Next
Close.
door. Bahrain. Next door.
Yes.
I permanently moved in when I was 54 already, right? So there's a marked difference, right? The knowledge. So when as I'll again mention Brent again because Brent has been into into like business association. environment, his political
Hmm.
awareness and everything is extremely good. And I take an advantage whenever I'm sitting with Brent. I really want to learn at least one new thing from him.
Right.
Politically, so I really want to kind of understand about the political history of Canada, like,
Hmm.
which is also very, very interesting. Like, I was sitting somewhere and this gentleman, like, senior guy, he was discussing the privatization of 407. Like, for those people who are not here, those who don't live in Ontario particularly, 407 is a highway, and most of the 407 was built by government, provincial government. But they made a I would say silly decision of um, selling this asset that they had to private sector, and 407 is now world's most expensive highway. You know,
Wow.
it's world's most expensive highway,
Yeah.
and it's very difficult to use it. Like, some people still do.
Hmm.
So learn from those who are there for a little bit longer. Like, for
Hmm.
me, you and Brent, for instance, and I
Right.
really like to. So, and this is what we will do, Doreen. I mean, I would really love to learn from you, and of course, with your massive experience of working in all the major banks in Canada,
Yeah.
and the one thing that I really admire about you is your articulation and storytelling, and that really is fascinating, the way you, and of course, because the language comes naturally. For me, okay, I'm fluent, but language does not come naturally for me. If you compare, I'm more fluent in Urdu, right? Because that's my
Right.
language. That's my language. So Doreen, a bit of about the journey, very quickly,
Yeah.
and then this storytelling bit of it.
Hamad, it scares me sometimes to think how in sync we are. This is a great segue to what I was thinking, what was going through my mind. So, for those who know me or you don't know me, I was in the financial services industry for over 20 years. So, once I got in after high school, I was looking for a job. I got into a bank and I stayed there. I stayed there because I thought that's what I had to do. I stayed there because I was following others who were there before me, and I just kind of followed along. And it's like, okay, you start here and then you move there and then you go there and you do this and you just keep going until you reach a certain level. It's a great job, don't get me wrong. I'm grateful for the opportunity. I learned a lot. I met some amazing people. And then all of a sudden, after 20 years, my role was eliminated. And I thought, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? Am I going to die because I've lost my job? And it made me stop and think, and it made me do a lot of soul searching. And this is really important. And if I were to give a bit of advice to whoever's out there, and if you're feeling lost and if you don't know what to do and where to go, just stop. Stop for a second or 2 seconds and take a blank notebook, a blank piece of paper, and a pen, and just start writing down things that you like to do. If money were no object, what would you do? Just write it down, whether it's photography, dancing, cooking, whatever the case may be. And you know what? Explore those avenues. Another piece of advice I would give you, and this has worked for me in many ways, is join a group. Find a group somewhere. There's so many groups out there. And if you can't find a group, start your own group. Hamad and I are going to be starting a new group soon too, so watch for it, everybody in Durham. So when you go join these groups, you start to meet different people from different backgrounds and different experiences. And through conversations, you learn things and you're like, oh, wow, I didn't know that existed. Maybe I could do that. And I think a lot of times it's imposter syndrome that we think, no, there's no way. There's no way I could be a career coach. There's no way I could be a storytelling coach. And yet here I am today doing all of that through, of course, the encouragement of my friend Hamad Siddiqui. So it's possible. It's possible. Just put yourself out there and try it. Uh, there's a lot to be said for giving things a chance. And you know what? If it doesn't work, big deal. It didn't work. Try something new, try something different. And soon you will be really excited about what you could be doing. and how I landed on storytelling. I had no clue. I had no idea that I loved to tell stories. I didn't even know it was in me until somebody reached out to me on social media and asked me to work on a project with them because they saw something that I wrote. And the rest, as they say, is history. So I love writing people stories, and now I'm writing stories to help business owners, or I'm helping business owners use storytelling in their marketing so that they can build relationships, connect with their clients, and succeed. So that's where we are today. And honestly, I'm having fun with it. And I think that's what the mindset that you have to use to go into it. Just say, you know what, I'm just going to have fun with it and see where it takes me.
Absolutely. And as you rightly said, if you don't find a group, start your own group. I mean, who is going
Hmm.
to stop you? I'm
Hmm.
sure 100%, wherever you are in this world, you will be able to find at least two, three people who would be able to come
Absolutely.
together,
Yes.
buy a cup of tea or a chai, or have a place to sit and just discuss.
Hmm.
Because alone is too. I mean, this is my favorite one. I wrote it long time ago. As you know, I love writing content. Alone is too lonely. Like, when you're alone, you're too lonely. I mean,
Hmm.
I could do this podcast alone, but I would be lonely. Doreen could do Heart and Soul alone, but that would be too lonely without Jaga, who is
Yeah.
actually the producer of that whole podcast. And I was invited, I think, in the second, no, the inaugural podcast. I think the first podcast. I remember, I think I
Yes.
was the first person who came onto the podcast. So before I share my thoughts on what you just said, I really wanted to acknowledge few people who are here. Of course, Brent, we have done. Talib, we have
Hmm.
done. Sumra, we have done. Naveed Awan, thank you very much for joining. Hanif Varchi is joining in, and he is actually writing a book on management and stuff like that. So he's a great person to follow. Talib again, Talib, you have already started. You started a group he started a group when he was working with me at site. And last week in fact, like yesterday we spoke, and I said, you need to reactivate that group. And that was a group of professionals in Karachi who were part of CSR teams, so corporate social responsibility and compliance.
Hmm.
And he was leading the group. So, and the beauty is when you started, often you are the one who are leading it as well, right?
Hmm.
So just start your own group if you don't find uh, a group to join in. So, and I guess, my own journey, started um, very humbly in Karachi, moved on to British consulate in Karachi, and up past that was 17 years. It spread over 17 years. I did a lot of work there. Served as Queen Elizabeth II, late Queen Elizabeth II, press officer as well, and a lot of other things that I did. And then I moved on to Center for International Private Enterprise, which is again a U.S. not-for-profit part of U.S. Chamber of Commerce. And with them, I worked in different countries. That's where Talib was like my junior, well, my colleague. Let me put it this way, not my junior. I never liked these words, like my colleague. He was my colleague, amazing guy. And one thing, Talib, you would remember, I when you joined in, I said, and he was like leading the compliance and corporate compliance thing that we were starting. He had zero knowledge about it. He had studied it. He's an MBA. He studied it, but never worked on that. And I said, Talib, if you like do this and you learn this whole thing, you will be amazed how many opportunities will come your way.
Hmm.
So he actually did that. So thank you, Talib, for being part of that thing. So and then of course coming to Canada and kind of almost I would say restarting my life at the age of 54 wasn't easy, right? But I never wanted to work for anyone. And
Hmm.
then started I found a big gap in people, and a lot of people who are still joining in, like, there are 13 people at the moment, I can see them. A lot of them uh, actually still struggle in improving their LinkedIn profile. And LinkedIn is where I get my business from.
Hmm.
So my simple thing is, if I can do it, they all can do it too. So
Absolutely.
it's kind of a journey that I never thought I would ever be a LinkedIn coach, mentor, whatever
Hmm.
you don't think. Then, of course, over a period of 6 years, I started business from literally zero, and I kind of graduated it into different stages. I built that muscle of mine, that I can help people, professionals,
Hmm.
start exploring their kind of creating business using their knowledge, skill, and experiences. Again, non-linear, like, it's absolutely non-linear.
Hmm.
So I would personally think non-linear is exciting.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, it may be a roller coaster, right? At
Yeah.
times. Yeah,
Maybe try to avoid the very deep dives, but
yeah,
it's still fun and thrilling, you know?
yeah,
Do we have any questions from anybody? I would love to
yeah.
hear if
So
anyone has any
I think
questions.
yeah, if anybody has any questions, please ask, because I think I can see one coming in from Talib, but please ask questions. Um, yeah. So Hanif's book is Unwritten Rules of Career Growth.
Right.
And I made a little bit of a contribution into this. Like, I sent me a questionnaire that I filled in. So, and Anisa, I would really like to see the outcome of that survey that you did. Uh, and yeah, so
Okay, so I'm going to ask a question to somebody
so
who's
there's a
on here.
question. There is a question.
Okay.
Let's
Okay.
just on the basis of network and references. So I don't know. It's an incomplete question, but I think I can assume that the question is that you can actually grow just on the basis of network and references, Doreen? Can we?
Of course we can. I'm living proof of that, right? I mean, if you can come across to someone and tell your story, and it even starts with the introduction. You know, when you meet somebody for the first time, whether at a coffee shop or a networking event or anywhere, and they say to you, "Hi, how are you? What's your name and what do you do?" And immediately we think we got to say what our title is. You know, I'm an accountant, I'm a lawyer, I'm an engineer, but then it stops right there. However, if you give them something tangible to think about and hold on to, like, what problem are you solving? You know, how exciting is it that, you know, where does your work take you? What sort of people do you engage with? So add that storytelling element into your networking to say, you know what, a lot of business owners are struggling with their marketing. They're struggling with their reaching out to their clients, and their sales are being affected because of that. And what I do as a storytelling coach for businesses, I help them use storytelling to improve their marketing and make their stories more exciting so people are drawn to them. Now, isn't that more, I won't use the word exciting because I don't want to call myself exciting, but isn't that more fuller of an explanation rather than just say I'm a storyteller? So tell them, you know, where is the problem and how do you come in and solve that problem? So use that in your networking and see how far it gets you. Try it out.
Yeah, and I would say don't try to sell anything. The
Right.
networking events are to build your network, number one, and trust
Hmm.
and credibility.
Hmm.
For me, people come and pay me for my services because they see me every day. They see me every day on LinkedIn. They see me contributing to their lives by adding value to their knowledge and the knowledge that I have. I share everything. Whatever I think I should share that particular day, I would do it. I mean, you and I are doing this podcast. We are giving our time for free. So give a lot of free time. When you give, you get.
Hmm.
And this is again my favorite one, one of my favorite one. And Hanif just shared, like my alone is too lonely one. The next one is givers are the real gainers.
Mm,
When you give, you gain. So there's another question coming in from Shah Ahmed, and he says, looking back, what was there a point in your career that felt like a setback at times, but later became a defining advantage? Um, hey, Edwin. Edwin is joining in from Canada as well. Thanks for joining in. So for me, I think so. I have many, but one of the things that I would actually can pick is that I started too late. I think I started my solopreneurship journey or content creation journey too late in my life.
mm,
I created my YouTube channel in 1997, 98, right? And this is an example that I always give. Mr. Beast also created that YouTube channel, which is now $1 billion YouTube channel at the same point in time. But I never focused on that. So I read in a book somewhere, I don't remember the book, if you focus on success, success will grow. If you focus on shit, shit will grow, right?
right.
So it's all about focus. What do you want to focus at? And this is exactly, I think I should have started a lot more earlier, but whenever I started, I actually started. That's the key thing. Right? Had I
Mm,
not started, I would not have been doing this podcast. Like there are, I have more than 6,000 students across the world, and I keep pushing them to do LinkedIn Live.
mm,
Hardly anyone does it, right? So there's a massive supply gap that's out there. So if Hanif or Talib or Brent, if you all start doing something on LinkedIn, eventually people will start listening to you. So
yeah.
that's my thing. Doreen, if you have any, uh, please share.
I think for me, the setback was, which really turned out to be more not a setback, is when I lost my job, my full-time job after 20 years. And to me, at the time, I thought it was a setback and I was really scared. I was nervous. But then I started to meet people and talk to them about what else is going on out there. And then I got excited because I thought, oh, wow, I never thought about this. So I started to join groups. I met so many amazing people. I learned from other entrepreneurs. I joined like a business networking group as well. And then I thought, you know what? I like this space. I like to play in the sandbox. So let me just keep going and see what I can build. Sometimes I need a little bit of hand holding and a little bit of a push. And that's where Hamad comes in and says, yes, you can do it. And that's the other thing too, is find someone you can collaborate with. Find someone you can partner with so that it doesn't feel so scary to do it alone. And just do it.
Yeah. And what will happen? Like I always tell them, like a lot of students that I have are not very comfortable in English. I said you don't have to speak English.
Mhm.
If you speak Sindhi or Pashto or Urdu, just do it. When you do it, then only you will learn. You will use. So you actually build community around you. Uh, so and it's just amazing, right? Doreen, you experienced it. I've experienced it, and a lot of other friends that are actually watching. They built communities around them, right? They
Mhm.
are kind of centerpiece of that community where people come and talk to them and ask them questions. This is
Mhm.
exactly what we are doing right now. We are building that
Yes.
community. That's fine. We have 13 people watching. I don't care. We don't care. Um, Over the period of next 24 hours, maybe 1,000 minutes of watch time. But just think about it. That's if we want to buy that $1,000 of watch time, 1,000 minutes of watch time on a channel, how much would it cost? Right? LinkedIn is giving us free opportunity to reach out to people, to talk to people, to share your thoughts and build
Right.
your credibility. At this point in time, if I ask everyone who is with us at this point in time, just write down in comments where are you joining in from, and that will actually show everyone the reach of this podcast. And this is just
Mhm.
one podcast that we are doing, and
Yeah.
before the podcast, and we always do that. previously also we would discuss, okay, what will be the flow of the podcast and things. And when Doreen called me 10, 15 minutes before, I said, let's do it because because we have something in mind, but it's not scripted. That's the
Yeah.
beauty. So just tell us from where are you joining in? I know a few people. I know Talib. I know but just write down to show others
Hmm.
the outreach of this whole podcast. So
Yeah.
Anis, where are you joining from? Talib, where are you joining from? Edwin, where are you joining from? Sumera, Pakistan is a big country, so just tell us where you're joining in from. And everyone who is there with us, just tell. And that will show exactly this effort that me and Doreen are putting out,
Yeah.
the reach of that effort.
Yeah. And while they're typing in their notes as to where they're coming from, Hamad, should we talk about our LinkedIn local that we're starting soon?
Absolutely, absolutely. So something that we are doing, and let's see. We've got Itobiko, Shazad. We have got Adil Memon joining in from UK. Thank you, Adil. We have got Karachi joining in. We have got Brent from Markham, Ontario,
Hey, Brent.
joining in. So Islamabad, Sumera is joining in from Islamabad. I know Saudi Arabia is there as well. Um, so just think about it, and and we are not big time influencers, by the way.
Well, we
Yeah,
are kind of.
we
Maybe
are kind
not
of,
that big, but
yeah. Let's put it
we are.
humbly. Yeah. So what we are doing next is, and by the way, please repost this if you can to spread the word and to whatever we discussed around non-linear career growth should reach out to more and more people. Jason joining in. Jason runs an amazing community. He's based out of Dubai. He's in supply chain. Edwin joining in from Toronto. And Jason, we would really want, I mean, I can request you, I know to spread the word in your community because he's got like an amazing community. Finland, Zishan Sabe joining in from Finland. So and Sunny is saying timing and the day is perfect. So it will be every Thursday, same time. And please tell us what you want to listen, and we will also be happy to invite uh, some of you, well, selected, of course, because of the time constraint that we have, to come and join us on Zoom so that we could talk to you directly. And so,
Mhm.
Ibrahim or Edwin or Hanif or Dishan or anyone, if you want to join in, uh, DM me and or if you're first degree connection for Doreen, DM her and we will be able to invite one or two
Yes.
people next Thursday, same time to come and talk to us.
Yeah. And
Uh,
please connect with me on LinkedIn. Send
yeah,
me a little note to say that you were on the podcast and you saw Hamad and myself, so I'll know where you're connecting from. I'm happy to make those connections with you, and then let's see what we can do to help you guys out.
right. And also these everyone who is there in this podcast commenting, this is your opportunity to connect with each other.
Yes.
This is how you grow your community. This is how you grow your network. Now, what we are doing, Doreen and myself, we only have about 4 minutes in this session, um, is that we are actually taking our friends, at least in Durham region, but those who are a little outside Durham also can come, and doing something what we call LinkedIn local. So in a local restaurant or cafe in Oshawa. We will be doing, uh, hopefully in a week or two, we are going to organize it on a Saturday morning between 11 and 12, 1 hour of in-person networking. So
Hmm.
you come and you buy your own coffee, or if you want to do your breakfast, that's fine.
Or
And
if you
and
want to
we'll
buy us coffee.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we also obviously we are not charging anything, and
Yeah.
hopefully we'll be able to charge something when we have a bigger space to do something. But anyways, come and join us in that, and we're going to announce it. I There's a lot of friends who are in Durham region, and as well as, for instance, like Edwin lives in Toronto, and Shazad lives in Etobicoke, and Brent lives in Markham. If you can drive, so it will be once in a month. networking for people who are our friends on LinkedIn to
Hmm.
come and just have some fun, just chat and build your own what I call network with the people directly. So that's what we are going to do starting in about a week or so, and we're going to
Yes.
announce it properly.
Yeah. Great.
So yeah, so at the end of the session, now we have 16 people watching, and
Oh,
I
wow.
right, so it actually keeps going up and down, and literally, if even if there are two people watching, it's not going to discourage us.
Hmm.
And Doreen and I, we have a belief that okay, if we can make difference in the lives of 1,000, 5,000 people, that's fantastic. But if we could make a difference in one person's life, that's amazing too.
Yes. I know. And I hope you guys, whoever was listening today, are inspired by what we're saying, that you're excited by what we're saying. And maybe you're kind of standing at the edge of that cliff and you're wondering, should I jump or should I stay? I'm not talking literal cliff. I'm talking your career cliff. You know what? There's so much out there to life. So just have fun with it and just do something exciting that's going to change your life.
That's fantastic. So, to conclude, don't be afraid of sharing what you know.
Hmm.
And also don't be afraid of asking. So if you have a question, ask. Write a LinkedIn post. I really don't know about it. Can anybody help me understand this thing?
Hmm.
So, you know, uh, Doreen keeps asking me few things. I ask her things. And this is how we learn and we grow. Number two is if either we become part of a network, and if you prefer, create your own network, and it will always start with one or two people. I've got almost close to 90,000 followers on LinkedIn. I never built that community in one day. It took me a lot of time. Ghulam Khan joining in from Multan. Thank you very much. Multan, mangoes in Multan are amazing. So, those who haven't been to Multan, it's a very hot city in the heart of Pakistan, and the mangoes are amazing. So these are two basic things. And if you have a non-linear growth, that's okay. You don't have to worry about it. Even the most people who have got very linear growth, actually, if you break it down or investigate or analyze or do something like that, you will find that they would actually have or touched something non-linear within the whole process.
Perfect.
So, so thank you very much for joining in, folks, from wherever you're joining in. But I mean, look at how international this whole podcast is.
Yes. And
From
that's the
Canada,
exciting, yes.
from
Look at the
Canada to
opportunities, the
yeah,
global opportunities. So connect with each other and let's start building this community.
right. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining in, and thank you, Doreen, for encouraging me to start this whole process. And I'm pretty sure we are only going to grow. Thanks.
Absolutely. I look forward to next week. Thanks,
Next
Ahmad.
week, same time, and if anybody wants to join us on Zoom, please drop me or Doreen a DM, and not only the DM, just not the name if you're interested. Share your email address as well, because
Mhm.
we can only send you an invite on Zoom using your email address. So,
Great.
but anyways, the thing is that you should come with something in mind. Either ask questions or share something exciting. Thank you
All
very
right.
much. And with that, bye bye.
Bye.